Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. XRP community has spoken. Today I'm going to be going over XRP. I want to talk about some really important things because I think that an XRP breakout is imminent. Bitcoin and XRP are actually highly correlated, and we're seeing XRP lagging behind Bitcoin slowly, but with Bitcoin breaking out and showing such a strong impulse, I highly expect XRP not to be very far behind. XRP has been one of my favorite altcoins for a while. I've been investing a decent amount of my portfolio into this for the last few months, and this has been one of the best performing cryptos of all time. I highly recommend that everybody check out XRP or at least have some exposure if you are investing into crypto for the long term. There's never been a crypto that has performed as consistently as XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and so there's never a real reason to doubt any three of those that are going to consistently outperform the rest of the market. So make sure that you guys stay all the way to the end of this video because I'm going to be going over some very important analysis with XRP, and I know the XRP community isn't going to want to miss out on any of this exciting stuff because it's going to really paint a clear picture of what's going to happen down the line. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. If you're somebody that wants to join a Discord community, I have a server with over 6,000 members and it's growing so fast. I'd love to have everybody a part of this because this is really where you're going to be able to connect with the biggest part of my community. Now, the way you guys can join, it's totally free for anybody to join as well, is all you got to do is click in the description of this video and there you're going to find an invitation link. Now, with that being said, I also offer some of my more exclusive content like my video course and signals through my Discord. The video course is an excellent resource that teaches you guys all of my personal strategies for profiting inside of these markets. So if you're somebody that wants to learn how to day trade and you want to actually learn how to step into this market with consistency when it comes to actually investing, you guys are definitely going to want to check out that video course. It's literally all of my resources that I've learned over 4 years of being in this market. All of the money that I paid for courses and mentorship is all going to be taught to you guys inside of that course. So it's a really good value for your buck. Now, the signals are an excellent resource for you guys to actually copy all of my investments that I'm taking over the next cycle, along with exact percentages of what I've allocated to each investment, as well as a scaling out plan for taking profits. I also post swing trades and margin trades inside of that, and so you'll be able to copy along and follow all of the trades that I'm taking over the course of this next cycle. So if this is something interesting to you, make sure that you guys join the Discord server and shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for the support. I know XRP community is one of the biggest and best communities out there, so make sure that you guys show some support of XRP by smashing that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Guys, get me to a goal of 1,000 likes for this video. It would really mean a lot to me. This is the type of video that you share out to all of the XRP supporters or people that you know that are maybe on the fence about investing, because I promise that by the end of this video, you guys are also going to become an XRP maximalist. That's a big, bold claim, but you guys are going to understand my thoughts, so let's get right into this video today. Alrighty guys, taking a look once again, 3 days left until we have the Bitcoin block reward halving. This is going to be such a big catalyst for expansion, which is why I want to talk about XRP today. I wanted to go over some things because with Bitcoin heading close to this halving, we all know what happens and what follows the altcoin shortly after. And so now is the time where you want to be investing into these altcoins if you haven't already. Bitcoin's already started making its impulses while most of the altcoins have gone down, which is why I actually believe it's a better time to be investing into altcoins in this time. Now let's actually dive into the chart of XRP. Let's talk about a couple things here because I think that this is a really important thing to talk about today. Realistically, guys, Bitcoin itself, if we go over here, let's delete this real quick. Bitcoin itself is currently sitting at just under 10K. I personally believe it's likely that we're going to hit upwards of 10.5. That's what I'm going to watch out for, and it's very possible that we could go much higher than that. We're just going to watch and see. But really what I want to talk to you guys about XRP today is this pattern that we saw inside of Bitcoin recently. So this is an example of a diamond reversal pattern. Basically, it creates this diamond shape and then we break up in full reverse of this trend. It's a really cool chart pattern, actually. We get this rally, and we get the sharp rally, and then we get the sharp decline, and it's just this big shakeout, a washout of all of the retail money, all of the dumb money that's afraid. And then they panic sell, then we end up breaking out and going into new all-time highs. And that's the way that this reversal pattern works. Now, with XRP, guys, we're doing the exact same thing here. There's really no difference. This is, once again, just an example of a diamond reversal pattern. This is a diamond bottom, because obviously this is taking place at the lower part of a bear trend. And so, in my opinion, I think that we are very close to actually breaking out of this diamond, and I think that we will here soon inside of this consolidation here. Watching this right now, I do like what we're seeing. This looks to me like a big shakeout, and the reason why is because if we look over here at the 2017 consolidation, we've literally consolidated and retested all of that. And so I think that this is the perfect place where we actually see a diamond bottom reversal pattern, because we retested all the previous support. Obviously, we could still go down here, but if we didn't do that with all of that corona panic that recently took place, I don't foresee that happening. I thought that this was capitulation that took place already. Now, I know that I told everybody that I figured 20 cents was going to be the bottom. Obviously, I was wrong and we went for one more low, but I got filled on some more lower buy orders, and so I can't even complain. I got filled at 14 cents, which was almost the very bottom of this move, and so I'm in a lot of profit regardless. And so I've accumulated a lot of my spot entries. I think my average entry price throughout this entire dip was 23 or 24 cents, so about right here. And so I'm sitting at a tiny bit of loss. We did hit my break even, but with what we're seeing today, guys, I strongly believe that we're just following Bitcoin. We're about right here, right before we make the next big impulse, and we head upwards of the resistance at the top of this diamond, which would theoretically take us to about 30 cents. So this is the top of this diamond is actually 33 cents, which would be a very nice move to see. If we could see a breakout that takes us upwards of 39 cents, or 33 cents, excuse me, I think that we'd see a short-term correction back down to about 25 to 30 cents. And then at that point, we should get that breakout upwards of 50 cents. And so watching this, guys, this is looking very, very good. Remember, something to point out here is the fact that we do have this major descending resistance here. And if we could actually get a break back above the top of this diamond, that would break this descending resistance. And then this consolidation below would be us retesting the previous resistance as trending support. And so I think that this could be the early signs of this reversal of this entire bear trend that we've been seeing. And that's really what I wanted to see with this reversal pattern taking place. We did sell off. We did manage to retest all of the short-term consolidation in the 2017 range. And now I think that we are going to be seeing the breakout coming soon. Now, if we don't get the breakout and we hit up here at about 28 cents and we reject, obviously it is possible that we could be seeing another low. It is possible that we just have to come back down and retest a little bit more before going up again. But we're going to watch and see what happens with XRP. I like our chances considering with what happened with Bitcoin. I think that with altcoins just following Bitcoin, it's likely that we're going to see something similar play out here. And so that's my go-to with XRP as it stands right now. Overall, we're just waiting for this downtrend to be broken from. We had a couple downtrends. We broke from this one, and then we started this secondary one. We've rejected off it 3 times. I think that now is the time that we're actually going to be breaking out of that. And if we look at the volume, we can see that we have really, really solid volume. And in fact, there was a lot of volume that came in at the peak of this move right here. And so the average volume that we're seeing here is still much bigger than any of the previous volume by a significant margin. And so obviously we're going to see a bull run. It's just a matter of when, not if, when. And so it's time to be packing our bags. It's time to be preparing for the inevitable future of what's to come with XRP, because obviously a lot of people are shaking out. We've only maintained this downtrend, lower lows, lower highs. It's actually bled deeper than most other altcoins out there, yet it's still maintained a top 3 status. You're not going to beat that, in my opinion, and I think that this is actually a really, really good sign. We're down 97% from peak high to peak low, and so this one actually corrected a lot deeper than most other altcoins out there, but nonetheless, that just creates a better buying opportunity, because at the end of the day, XRP never left the top 3 market cap position. Maybe it did initially during all of this volatility, but it's basically stayed more consistently in that top 3 than any other altcoin out there, and so for that, I think that that leads more reason to be bullish. Obviously, if it stayed in like the top 3 stance and then dropped out of the top 10, obviously that shows more weakness, but XRP didn't show weakness. Yes, the trend is down, but the trend is down throughout the majority of other altcoins. There are some altcoins that made lower lows, like XRP. There's some that maintained a support level, like Ethereum. But nonetheless, I still believe that all 3 of these are very bullish. And regardless of what your belief systems are with crypto, I like XRP for the simple fact if you bought today and held just to the all-time high, that's a 16x return. You're just not going to find that amongst high cap altcoins very often. I think that Ethereum's like an 8x or a 7x to the all-time high, and so you're getting over double that with XRP. And XRP really is a good performing altcoin, and we saw something similar happen in the last cycle. I mean, realistically, this just looked like a big pump and dump. each cycle. And if you would have bought this, you would have made a fortune. But the thing is, guys, everybody wrote it off because it wasn't pumping as hard. It wasn't making higher highs. It was just low, and its trend was down, and so nobody bought it. But then it pumped the hardest. And so we got to keep that in mind with this cycle around once again. Once again, we're seeing a similar cycle, big pump and dump. We're seeing the trend weakening. Well, we're actually seeing the bearish trend weakening. And as soon as we break out of this, it's go-to for $1, in my opinion. $1 XRP is going to take us to about right here. So this would be $1. I think that as long as we can break above this 30-cent mark, as long as we can get above 30 cents, which would also coexist with the break of this descending resistance, then I think that that's actually going to set us up for a nice move upwards of $1. And then at that point, you know, we might see our short-term correction back down a little bit. But overall, I think that nonetheless, we're going to see some strong impulsing markets. And with altcoins specifically, when they pump, they really pump hard. I don't think it's going to be likely that we're going to see a consolidation like Bitcoin, where Bitcoin at the bottom of its cycle impulsed and then had a 72% correction back down. I find that less likely. I think the altcoins are going to just really start pumping off really quickly. And if it follows the silver fractal, that's going to be the case. And I think that that's really what I'm going to watch out for. So just stay tuned for that. But realistically to me, we're still following that same fractal, which is actually a chart that I want to pull up real quick. So this was a chart that I made a while back. I've shared it with you guys a couple different times. Now, where it stands right now, so 10 was the bottom of capitulation, and we've just uptrended from there. We're currently sitting at about right here. But it still is following this fractal. I want to bring this up because I still think that this analysis holds true. Now, this black one is the original market cycle from XRP back in 2015, 2016, 2017. And this one on the top is the current market cycle today. We're seeing the exact same accumulation, and this is nothing new. This is something that's been all around Twitter. I've shared it with you guys for the last few months at this point now. But nonetheless, it's still valid, and I don't see anybody talking about it anymore. I think that everybody's kind of jumped onto a new analysis, a new fractal, or they've just given up on XRP entirely. But that's the thing, guys. We're still following this, and it still needs to be discussed. What we see here is almost the exact same cycle. One is our first lower high, and then we go into capitulation, which takes us to 2. We get a breakout of capitulation, which is 3, and then we sell back down to support of the 2, and then this is where we get 4, 5, and 6, and we get the exact same pattern. From the 3, we start to round out on trending support, and this is the exact same thing that happened here in the last cycle. Before finally, number 7 is actually where we broke out of the downtrend. So if you drew a trend line from here all the way down, number 7 is where it actually breaks out of that downtrend. And the same thing happened here with the recent cycle. Draw a trend line from the top of here down through 1, 3, and it crosses, and number 7 is the breaking point of that. And now from 7, we start our final retrace, and this is exactly the same as what happened here. We start our final sell-off, we chop around number 8, and then we go to one more final low, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, and 10 is theoretically the bottom of this cycle, and that's actually the lowest point we've hit thus far. We've continued to uptrend from this point, and so I'm going to continue to hold through to this analysis because I think that regardless whether we see one more dip or whether this is the bottom, which I think it's personally the bottom, I believe that this is actually the start of this reversal, and we're going to see a strong impulse coming very soon. And so we really need to pay attention for this to play out. I personally strongly believe that it's going to. I think that anybody doubting XRP right now is going to have to just doubt the rest of crypto because XRP is a better performing altcoin than pretty much any other one out there. And so if this one dies, if Ethereum dies, kiss all of your other ones goodbye, guys. That's something to understand. Literally over 60% of the altcoins in the top 100 are built on Ethereum. So if Ethereum dies, what does that say for the rest of the altcoins? That means they're going to die with it. And so you don't want that. Nobody wants that to actually happen. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's quickly talk about XRP on the Bitcoin pair because this is actually selling down and has sold through support and made a lower low. So let's talk about some things here. Let's actually dive into the shorter time frame. Now, something I actually updated you guys with a while back, I don't know if you remember it, but I talked about the potential of this being a descending triangle, and we actually sold through the descending triangle. Now, the way that we're going to come up with a target is to use this trend-based fib tool. I did it backwards. So let's try it out here. Did it backwards. So let's try it out here and see kind of where that takes us. So the 1618 takes us to virtually the bottom of this bearish trend, which would be about right here approximately. Anywhere from about right here to right here is where I personally would be looking to accumulate XRP. Well, specifically moving Bitcoin into XRP, because that's the thing. This is a Bitcoin pair. And so this just basically means that Bitcoin is outperforming XRP dollar-wise. And so by looking at this, I strongly believe that we're going to get a quick impulse that's going to take us to the lower part of this. And that will complete the descending triangle, because this is about 250 days worth of consolidation. It's going to have a strong impulse down. And I think that once we do get the bottom of that impulse, I think that we'll bounce up and then we'll reclaim that before, starting that next big move on the way up. It should be something similar to what we saw in 2017, where we just get a big bullish engulfing candle and we start pumping on the way up, or even something like this. That's personally what I'm going to watch out for, because I think that that's the likely scenario. I don't think it's as likely that we're going to stay down at these levels for long. It'll probably be something like this, where we do retrace and we fall down to retest the primary lows. But then when we do break up, it's going to happen pretty quick. And that's the way that these altcoins move. And something to keep a note of here before I wrap things up today, let's talk about some things, because the reason why I came up with this target is not only because of the Fibonacci relationship with the descending triangle, but because of the basic fractal that's played out here. Now basically this is the peak of our last cycle, and then we start this first bearish trend. We find our low here, and then we end up impulsing for another high that comes back to retest the previous high. And then we sell off for one more final low before we start a new cycle again. And this repeats the pattern. So this is the top of the cycle, same as right here. We start the first correction back down. Same thing happens here. This is where we find our bottom, and then we break up and go into our next impulse. Same thing happens here. This one didn't go quite as high. This one actually peaked higher, but it's still the same cycle. And then we start retracing back down, and this is really our final sell-off, right? Now, what I wanted to point out here was the fact that where we bottomed right here before the big pump that we saw in 2017 took place right at, let's do a different line, right at the very bottom of the support of the first pump. So right here, we can see that we bottomed right there. This was the support of the first pump that we ever saw. The same thing's probably going to happen again. So this was the support of the first pump in the last cycle. We're going to come back down and retest the previous support, which would also coexist with the previous fractal as well. And so that's what I'm going to watch out for with XRP. Regardless, I'm still bullish. I've been investing into this one for a while. I've just dollar cost averaged. Yes, it's been outperformed by Bitcoin, but that's what happens at the beginning of every bull run. Regardless, I mean, for Bitcoin to go from where it's at to 100K is only about a 10x return. Whereas for XRP, I mean, this is the Bitcoin pair, but if we look at the dollar, like I said, buying now and just holding to the all-time high is a 16x return. And so regardless, I'll make more money off of altcoins. I like to buy Bitcoin to hold as a safety net, as more of a stability for my portfolio, as well as the fact that it leads the rallies. So you'll make some money off of Bitcoin. You can take that Bitcoin and buy cheap alts, and then you can just make more Bitcoin in the process. And so that's really the way I trade these markets. Even though we're showing a lower low, I don't think that we should be really scared about this. It's just part of the way that the markets move. And with us coming back down, we're literally going to be retesting like basically trending support. And don't get me wrong, guys, an alternative scenario to watch for is the fact that we could still end up retesting all the way back down to down here, which would be the bottom of the 2014 market cycle, be the bottom of the 2017 market cycle. And who knows, if we get a little bit of stronger down or impulse on the downside, we could very easily wind up down here at about 4,800 Satoshis approximately. And so just something to keep a note of. If we do get a stronger impulse, we might come back down to retest all of the previous support. But if not, I'm expecting the rough range of about 1,400 Satoshis. So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. I want to talk about XRP. We didn't really go over too much besides just my overall trading plan and some technical levels that I'm watching for. Realistically, guys, the bull run is here. I don't care what anybody tries and tells me. At this point, all of the bears are wrong at this point. And something I want to point out to you guys real quick. Dumb bulls will make more money than smart bears. And that's just the truth. You know, in a bear market, the most you can make on a trade is 99%, unless it goes 100% to nothing. And so you just got to remember that on the way up, you can make 16x just to the all-time high. And so people that just got lucky and just bought at a cheap point in crypto and held and made 16x are going to make way more than the smart bear that was just shorting each technical level the whole way down, because that's the way that these markets work. And so for me personally, it doesn't really matter all of this downside. We're going to have a bull run. I'm confident in saying that. I could be wrong, but I make YouTube videos. I put myself on the spotlight for criticism, and so I have no problem being wrong because I'm wrong all the time. But at the end of the day, I'm profiting right now. At the end of the day, I averaged into the dips, and at the end of the day, you guys can be doing the exact same things that I am so that you guys can be profiting. So just something to keep a note of here. Overall, the bull run's here, and we're all going to make an insane amount of money together, especially all of you XRP fanboys out there. XRP community is one of the most diehard out there. You guys have been through hell through this bear market, so just pat yourself on the back if you've made it this far, because now we're at the final stages of this capitulation where we have a really good opportunity of using some of our Bitcoin profits and actually unloading them into these cheap altcoins. So just make sure that you're aware of that. And by the way, join the Discord server if you want signals, or if you want to copy my my video course and follow along with that. It's a really good opportunity right now. I've been posting a lot of different stuff and trade setups in there. So if you guys want to actually know exactly how I'm trading these markets, join below, because at the end of the day on YouTube, all this is really just technical analysis. It's never really a real entry or exit. So make sure that you guys join. With all that being said, I'll catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.